Army of the Dead was directed by Zack Snyder and stars a handful of actors and actresses, including Dave Bautista. A group of mercenaries attempt to pull a heist in Las Vegas, which now is a barricaded zombie wasteland. A couple of things to mention before I get into this review. First of all, my room is extremely hot. It's like 90 degrees outside. My mom has all the windows open in the house for some reason, but instead we should have the air conditioning on. It makes absolutely no sense, so I am burning up in here. If I look like I'm sweating, I am. Also, one thing you may have noticed is that the lighting in here looks a tad bit different. That's because I got new lights. I'm not even sure if it looks different at all, but yes, I got new lights in case you were wondering. So Army of the Dead, a Zack Snyder zombie movie. We've seen him do zombie movies before, and I've always enjoyed zombie movies. Usually you have a group of people who are fending them off, and these zombies are man-eaters. They will do anything they possibly can in their power to get you. They're always a really good time, and at this point, we've had thousands of them, it feels like. First thing to point out is that I actually liked every single character in Army of the Dead. It was hard for me to find any complaints with the characters in this movie, and the actors and actresses playing these characters all do a great job in the film. In particular, Dave Bautista, he's the star in the movie, and he gives one of his best performances in my opinion. Surprisingly too, Zack Snyder attempted to give a lot of the characters in this movie some backstory, reasons for us to care about them. Dave Bautista in the film has a daughter, and their relationship is definitely front and center in terms of all the characters and their backstories. Army of the Dead did a good job by filling in backstories for these characters, as well as having a bunch of character moments in the movie that you don't necessarily need, but they're nice touches just because they add more depth to our characters and their relationships. So I was surprised to see Zack Snyder at the very least attempt to give these characters more background as well as character moments to make us care more about them. And what's super cool and makes this movie stand out more to me in comparison to the various other zombie movies we've seen before is that this one is more about a zombie kingdom that is Las Vegas. It's barricaded and all the zombies are in this one contained place, whereas in a lot of the other zombie movies, all of the zombies are after global domination. They have taken over the world, and it's like an apocalypse, but this movie is in one small space, and it's their kingdom. I love everything Zack Snyder did with the sets. He made Las Vegas feel like a place that is ruled by zombies. He even went so far that he characterized some of the zombies to make them have more personality. There's like this zombie king and queen, and they have some other zombies that are really good. They're smarter. Not everybody in this movie that's a zombie is just an undead, mindless thing. So all I just mentioned is what separates Army of the Dead from the various formulaic, rinse and repeated zombie movies we've seen time and time again. But most importantly, on top of that, Army of the Dead is a very entertaining movie. Not only do we have some pretty interesting characters, but the movie does a great job in holding my attention. I could not believe how entertained I was for a movie that's over 2 hours long. It's nearly 2.5 hours. I enjoyed everything having to do with the characters and their backstories, as well as the heist and them fighting zombies. It was all extremely entertaining and a well thought out movie from beginning to end by Zack Snyder. However, I do think Army of the Dead did not tap into its full potential. This movie could have been more than it ended up being. To clarify, I wasn't a big fan of the direction the movie went in near the end. I feel like they had a lot of room to go down some very intriguing routes, but instead the movie goes down a more generic route by the time we're in the third act of Army of the Dead. I mean, come on, if the first 2/3 are what make Army of the Dead feel a little more special compared to the rest of the zombie movie genre, well then at the very least, make the final act, the most important act of the movie, feel special too. But if you've seen a single zombie movie, you pretty much know where the ending of this movie goes. All hell breaks loose. That, of course, makes the movie more entertaining, but at the same time, I wish they would have done something a little bit more special to make this movie feel, at least by the third act, a tad bit different from what we've seen before. And because of that, I don't see a situation in the next couple of years where my future self will want to rewatch 2.5 hours of Army of the Dead. It's just not worth it because the movie's really long and the third act kind of falls flat. If it was more special like the first 2/3 of the movie, I'd probably be more willing to. In fact, I could see myself watching the first 2/3 over and over again, but the final act, it's not really worth it. But hey, all that matters is that this is another good movie in the zombie genre, and I am giving Army of the Dead a 76%. Alright, for those of you who also happen to check out Army of the Dead this weekend on Netflix, be sure to let me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. And as always, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.